Okay, so what I'll be doing is I'll be sharing my screen, and let me even quickly. Okay, perfect. Yes, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I think I can see a few faces on the right in the small window that I have here. So it would be lovely to even know more about each of you. Ridhima, I'm already aware of. I've had a couple of interactions with her, but a quick round of introduction probably. Preetham, we can start with you.
Hey, hi, Jyot. So my name is Preetham Singh. I'm associated with the human resource team over here at AirFi, and pretty much like we do take care of the employee life cycle over here at AirFi. So that's what I do. On the personal front, I come from a nuclear family, and I am based out of Durgapur, West Bengal. And yes, my hobbies are cooking and poetry writing. That's what I do for fun.
Okay, great. So Preetham, what got you excited to come on this session?
I mean, the name itself, like, and specifically knowing someone who is like who has come out from India's first, in this particular domain. So, talking about mental health, I think at this time which we are, stress and you know, either knowingly, unknowingly, you have that accumulated. So I think that is something which will help me out to further, balance all the things out there in life more well. So I think that is what it brought me to this session. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to this.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing, Preetham. Surbhi, a quick introduction from you and what got you excited about this session.
Yeah, hi. My name is Surbhi, and I'm from Rajasthan, but working from Bangalore as a work from home. And I'm a QA engineer and associated with the company from past 6 years almost with this company. And my hobbies are like I love dancing, interacting with people, and watching movies and cooking also. And I'm excited. Someone is saying something. No? Okay. So the reason behind joining is like, of course, like which already Preeta mentioned about mental health. So maybe like this is like for every person working or maybe non-working, like they are facing with a mental health where like they don't know how to improve maybe because we are just focused on working and like balancing our personal life with like working life and nothing else. So maybe this session will help us like to grow in terms of mentally as well and learn few more things from you. Yeah, so looking forward for the session.
Absolutely, Surbhi. Thank you so much for sharing. Lovely sharing. So, anybody else who would like to share a quick intro and what got you excited, or you could just put in the chat window, and I think then we'll move forward. We have about 31 of us right now. I did see someone on the video. Guys, do come on the videos. This is going to be a very interactive session. So I request each of you to, put your videos on. Sonam, you were around. I could see you, but can't see you anymore. It would be good to hear one more sharing or anybody who would like to talk about why you are here. What is your...
I do.
Yes.
Hi,
Yes,
Joe. I'm Pooja. I currently head the Global Human Resource for AirFi. I've been around, I've been here for about 6 years now, and we've never done anything on mental health so far. And this is our first. That's one of the reasons why I'm very, very excited that, we are touching upon a topic that we have really not so far. And we're doing it with you since, you're one of these well-known names in the industry. So that's definitely what brought me here. Um, And the other thing is, of course, there was a very catchy word, which went like brain exercise. So I was like, okay, what's this? Right. So that got me pretty excited, and I'm really looking forward to some sort of interaction, taking some, tips to maybe de-stress, on a daily basis. So that's from me.
Wow, I think that is a lovely sharing, Pooja. Thank you so much for letting me know. That also kind of puts a lot of responsibility on my shoulders right now, that I have to ensure this is going to be one of your best sessions around this topic. So I hope I'm able to do that justice. And yeah, so I think moving forward, today's session, as we all can see here on the screen, it's about not just mental health, it's about the continuum of mental health. And it's not going to be a monologue here where we are going to be talking only about awareness, but I also want to ensure that each of you take the necessary action or steps that are required for us to have a better mental health. Yes. So I think let me quickly introduce myself here. You all know my name already. So I'm the founder and COO of WAI. WAI stands for Who Am I? We're a company that deals in personality research and human behavior by studying cognitive science. And I'm also India's first mind engineer. You'll get to know more about what exactly is mind engineering in the later slides. So talking about my experience, I have about 8+ years in this particular industry, and we've won over 5 awards for excellence. One of them was from the President of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, in 2017, and a lot more accolades that me and my entire team have really worked hard towards. One of the recent developments that have happened is something that I'm also proud of, is I'm now a member of the World Federation for Mental Health. So we are not just working in India or across India, but we are working globally and touching lives. Just last year, we did a campaign where we touched over 85 to 90,000 lives globally in the month of October. So moving forward, I've served a lot of organizations, worked with people in the corporate sector, education, special forces as well. And here we are working with you. So really looking forward myself. And I'm very excited that all of you took out time on a Monday afternoon, right, for this session. I know how crazy Mondays are. And thank you so much for joining on the session. And special thanks to Ridhima for arranging this entire session. And to my co-founder Nirmal, who's also on this call. So he's been a very strong pillar of support of whatever we do and our entire vision moving forward. So that's all about me. Moving forward, the session is going to be not about me or our company. It's going to be about each of you, right? So let us set some ground rules before we move forward, which are going to be essential for us to achieve what we are here to achieve, right, through the session. So the first one is, I want you to be here 100%. 99 will not work. Okay, I know you have a lot going on, maybe on the professional side, personal side, or working from home, but next 60 to 90 minutes is only for you, and I need your attention 100%. Can I have a show of hands or probably just a thumbs up if you agree with me on this? Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. Secondly, I hope you're all carrying your cell phones, extended body parts. Please keep it on silent mode, because I don't want you all to, get distracted maybe during some important part, which we'll be covering in the coming next minutes. And we will be requiring it, so keep it handy, but put it on maybe silent or on vibrate mode. Third is, do participate. We're going to keep this interactive. So the more you participate, the more we'll all enjoy and the more we'll learn through it. So I think once again, I can see only 3 screens here, on my window. So request everyone to put your videos on once again. It'll be great to have you all on the screen. So I'll quickly cover the topics, and while I'm covering, don't get overwhelmed by it. It's just something that you're going to go through it in a very light and fun manner. So these are the topics that we will be covering, which is we'll start with understanding basics of mental health. Then we'll cover more about the continuum of mental health. Then we'll also take you through how to identify early signs of depression and understanding what are the internal and external factors that can lead one towards depression. Then we'll be covering something very interesting where we'll talk about different personality-based triggers and how do we cope with mental health issues, followed by hashtag Find Your Light, which is a section where we'll be sharing stories of a few common men and women, as well as some known personalities of how they overcame their mental health issues by finding, something that gives them happiness or was their light in times of darkness. And then we'll move on to understanding how you can give support and how do you seek support when you actually need it. Towards the end, we'll be having some very interesting brain exercises. It's called Brain Gym, which we'll be covering. And thereafter, we'll have Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to bombard me towards the end of it. I'll be more than happy to answer each of them. So moving forward, I would be taking you through an activity and I would give you 1 minute. I request each of you to probably take a pen and a paper or a notebook with you. Quickly take a minute's time and be ready with it. Let me know once you're done. Okay. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll be giving you a minute's time. What we need to do in this activity, and listen to my instructions very carefully. I need you to draw something very abstract. Okay, something very abstract, not plain trees and mountains or water. Okay, and draw as much as you can. You have a blank sheet of paper, right? I hope there's nothing written on it. Yes, so when I start the timer, I would request each of you to probably start drawing. Are we ready? Is the instruction clear? Any confusion?
So when you say abstract, it's more like whatever your mind is leading you into drawing, but don't have a specific agenda of making it look in a certain way. Is that what you mean?
It could be something specific also, but not necessarily something which is very common, like, mountains, or don't go into something very generic.
Okay.
Yes, but draw as much as you can, fill the paper. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, so the time starts now. Thirty seconds more. Okay, time's up. Stop. Okay, all right. Now, do not show what you have drawn, okay? I want any one person to volunteer, especially who has their videos on. Any one person who would like to volunteer. or I'll pick up names.
Yeah.
Pooja?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. So, Pooja, what I require you to do is, I'll be giving you 1 minute time. You need to explain what you have drawn on the paper, and the others have to follow and draw the same. Okay, so you have to ensure that they draw exactly what you have drawn on the paper.
Oh my
Could
gosh.
be in terms of shapes, it could be in terms of objects. Yes?
Okay. All right.
Instruction clear?
Sorry?
Is the instruction clear?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, nervous?
Yeah, I am because I didn't see this coming. So now it's I'll try.
All right, all right. So everyone take a new sheet of paper and listen to the instructions of, what Pooja is going to share with you very carefully and try to draw exactly what she's saying. So Pooja, your time starts now.
Okay, so on the top left-hand side of your sheet, draw a magic wand, and the magic wand has a star, and from the star there is a stick that's protruding from the star towards the downwards, right? And then in the middle of the stick there is a bow that you need to draw. So once you're done with the magic wand, draw a dialogue box that's coming out of the magic wand, like a cloud. And inside it, you're supposed to draw a half moon. Around the half moon, there are small stars. So this lays inside the dialogue box, okay? So once you've done that, from the dialogue box, draw an arrow downwards and draw a big heart.
Okay, time's up.
Okay. I don't know how I did.
Why are you drawing? I couldn't see you draw. Or you were just gathering information first and then.
Oh no, I was supposed to tell them what I've drawn, right?
That's correct. That's correct. No, I didn't see Amin drawing, so I think you're
Oh.
listening very carefully. Okay, great. I think you started off really well, Pooja. So let's see, without you showing your picture, Ridhima, Surbhi, Amin, and who else is here? Preetam, Satvika, Sonam. Can I have your pictures? What Pooja just shared. Okay.
I'm very bad in like making pictures.
Not sure how close, but yes.
Okay, I can see. Surbhi, yes, Ridhima, I've seen it. Sonam, okay. Preetam, okay. Jatin, Satvika.
Something like this I drawn, but I was not able to complete. The instructions got over my mind after that.
Oh. Okay, okay, Satvika, I've seen it. Anybody else who has drawn? Atif? Bring it little towards the center. Okay. Oh, there's blue color added. Very nice. Okay, Akshay, I can see it. Thanks. Okay. Yes. So, Pooja, it's your turn now. Let's see what the master has drawn.
I think everyone's pretty much, yeah, I mean, there was more I had to, but then at least this is what it is.
Okay, okay. Very close.
Yeah.
Not bad, very close.
Great. I think good work. Pooja and everyone, I think really good work. So guys, I want to ask you a question here. What did you learn from this activity?
We obviously learned to listen first and foremost, like really engage ourselves completely, because we know that we have to translate it into something. So I think when you're just passively listening is very different from when you're actively listening. So I felt like that was the key takeaway, and to also sort of visualize what Pooja was explaining.
Very nice learning. Anybody else would like to share?
I think it is to do with putting oneself in some other shoes and saying things.
Okay. Amin, आपने दिखाया नहीं आपकी
मैंने
drawing.
दिखा I don't know,
I
sorry
was
for the
waiting.
drawing. Is he able to see?
Okay.
So it is maybe
Okay.
just that we putting ourselves in someone else's shoe and seeing things from their point of view.
Okay. Very good. Who else would like to share?
As someone who's giving instruction, I have something to share. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
going to come to you. Wait. Let's first listen from the others.
I think attention and focus.
Okay. Attention and focus. What else? Quick, guys. Quick. Learnings. Akshay, Atif, Ridhima, Jatin. Okay. Okay, yeah. Over to you, Pooja. I think no one else has anything to share. You could put it in the chat window if you're still contemplating. Yes, Pooja. How was
yes. So I felt as someone who's giving instruction, I was constantly torn between completing, I mean, giving complete instructions to finish a certain piece or stick to details. So, and also I felt like clarity is more important in the way you're saying it, at what rate or what speed you're saying, over just saying everything to finish whatever you want to. So for me, like I was conflicted when I was asking to draw a bow and then do a dialogue box and then do an arrow. So I was like, okay, this is it. I won't be able to finish my picture if I start, focusing on details on how the arrow is supposed to look. Because is it really important? It's about getting the whole piece together. But I still could not finish the whole thing.
That's an amazing learning. And I must say, Pooja, you've been one of the best instructors that I've seen so far. Otherwise,
wow.
I've seen worse things coming out. But yeah, I think the way you started and the way you explained was really well. I think this kind of helps us understand how important it is to communicate, right? And not just communicate, but also to listen, because communication is not just speaking, it is also about effective listening, right? And how do we ensure that the other person is able to understand exactly what is going on in our mind? I think this is the biggest challenge that we all face. Yes? Are you with me on this?
Yes.
Yes. So do you know why we did this activity? Let me tell you. So the reason why we focused on this activity first is because almost majority of the mental health issues start because of poor communication. It's either we not being able to express ourselves or the other person not being able to understand what we are trying to convey. Yes. So let's go ahead and understand why we are focusing on mental health. Now, I'll be sharing some facts with you. These may be new to you, so do not get shocked because this is the reality. So 1 in 5 people experience a mental health issue. That means even now, while we are having this session, there may be a few of us on this call who are facing some or the other mental health issue. And it's totally normal, right? Nothing to worry about. But something that we really have to get worried about is that more than 8 lakh people die by suicide every year. And these are recent figures, 2021, 2022. That means one person every 40 seconds. Okay. This is, of course, a global figure. In India, like last year, there were about 1,56,000 reported cases. We are unsure about how many unreported cases we had. Third, this is a statement by WHO, World Health Organization, which says that by 2030, the biggest mental health risk on earth will be depression. Right? But are we prepared? So these are some alarming and sad facts, right? But the good news is that there is a good news. We can do something about it. Okay? And we can only do if we are aware. Right? So let us understand what exactly is mental health. And here I would again like to ask each of you, what comes to your mind? The first thing that, comes to your mind when you hear the word mental health?
Peace.
Peace, okay. Yes.
Just the general state of your mind and by extension, your mood.
Okay.
My
Anybody?
emotional well-being.
Okay.
Avoid overthinking.
Okay. I think that's amazing because it's very rare that people give positive answers. So usually I get to hear things like depression, anxiety, suicide, right? As soon as the word mental health comes in front of the eyes. But is it a positive word or is it a negative word? What do you think?
It's positive.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else here thinks that it's a negative word?
No.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's absolutely correct. Mental health is an extremely positive word, right? And to talk about it, it's about our state of well-being, right? In which we are able to realize our own abilities. We can cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively and fruitfully, and we are able to make a contribution to our community. Okay, so yes, it's a very positive word. And do you think a 4-year-old or a 8-year-old faces mental health or has mental health? Yes or no?
Yes, they do.
Latvika saying no?
As in, I probably was looking at it as they don't have mental health issues, but yeah.
That's
They
exactly
do.
the clarification that I wanted to make, that we all have mental health, right? Be it a 4-year-old, a 40-year-old, or a 80-year-old, right? However, we do go through different stages of mental health, and that's where I would like to introduce you to this concept of mental health continuum. Now, continuum is a range between poor mental health to good mental health. So there are 4 stages to it. And while I'm sharing these stages with you, try to relate where do you stand in the continuum, or what are the experiences that you have. The first is the healthy or the green zone, where we have normal functioning, where we are doing our day-to-day routine, enjoying it, we are having normal sleep, feeling full of energy, performing well, we are also socially active. The second is the reacting stage. This is known as common mild reversible distress. That means if we are facing some kind of stress, we are getting affected by it, but we are coming back to our normal zone, within a few minutes or within maybe a day or two. So symptoms here can be somewhere around nervousness, irritability, sadness, little trouble sleeping, feeling tired, low energy, procrastination, right? Forgetfulness. How many of us face this forgetfulness? We, tend to do something and then we completely forget about it. Yes? Then minor disruptions in performance and decreased social activity. The third is the injured stage, which is significant functional disability. That means here we are not just seeing signs on a mental level, it's probably somewhere also starting to affect us physically. So feelings of anxiety, anger, fearfulness, hopelessness, fatigue, aches and pains. I've seen a lot of people who have migraine. Okay, people who are in this zone, they tend to have frequent migraines and they're unsure of why they're having it, right? Also symptoms of social avoidance or withdrawal. Anybody who is facing this right now? Okay. You could just probably put it in the chat window. Okay. Let me share something with you that I personally was in this zone, orange zone, for almost 6 years of my life, and I was completely unaware about it. Okay. So just to give you a little bit of background, I was into sports in my childhood, and I used to represent Maharashtra. I was a national level badminton player. And I was used to spending almost 8 to 10 hours on the badminton court. And suddenly when I, pursued my higher studies, my life drifted or shifted from, being on the court to being in the classroom, sitting and doing nothing, just listening, right? For almost 8 to 10 hours. And that kept me in this zone and I was totally unaware. So I was taken to a lot of doctors, homeopathy, allopathy, naturopathy, you name it, and I was there. Okay. But there was no solution to it. And within, I think after almost 6 years and all of, going through all of that, I later drifted into the red zone, which is the ill zone. This is a zone where it's a clinical disorder or severe or persistent functional disability. That means excessive anxiety, easily, getting angry or enraged, feeling depressed or having suicidal thoughts, unable to fall asleep, unable to perform duties, or, totally avoiding social events. So I was again in this state for almost 2 years in the red zone, right? But with a lot of guidance and support, I was able to come back slowly to the orange and then to the yellow and then to the green, right? So with proper awareness, and yes, by being honest to ourselves, we will definitely be able to live a much more healthier life. So I would be sharing with you right now a self-reflection workbook. This is going to be a link. 1 minute, let me put it in the chat window. Yes, I've added it in the chat window. I want you to refer to this link. And while we move forward, I would also request you to make notes. Once you fill in the details and submit the form, you will receive your own personalized report you can keep with you as a guideline for future reference. But there are 6 sections to it. So do not move on to the next section until I ask you to do so. Right now, what I need you to do is just open it and refer to the first section where you need to make a note of where you stand in the continuum. Okay, so which of the zones that we covered right now, where do you stand in the continuum? That's the first part. Second part is, where do you wish to be? Like, let's say, for example, if you're in the orange, then I think the best place or immediate place is to be in the yellow. If you're in the yellow, then in the green. Let me know once you're done with it. Okay. So let's move forward to the second section, where we will be discussing about the early signs of depression. Now, talking about this, would anybody like to share how do you currently identify or understand that a person is going through some kind of, depression or some kind of mental health issue?
I think one of the first things is when they get really withdrawn, and it starts out with a little bit of irritability, and then it sort of borders on feeling lethargic, lack of energy, and then just even though you've slept enough, still not having the energy to do anything, and just losing interest in a lot of the things that would normally be a source of happiness. I think these are some of the early signs.
Yes, that's correct. So early signs, when we talk about it, it's on 4 different levels. Okay, the first is about how we feel, right? So feeling of overwhelm or guilt or feeling irritated, frustrated, lack in confidence, unhappy, unable to take decisions, feeling confused most of the times, right? Or feeling miserable. Second is on a thinking level where thoughts like I'm a failure, it's my fault, nothing good ever happens to me, I'm worthless, life's not worth living, people would be better off without me. Okay, so such thoughts are also dangerous, and you should definitely speak with someone if you are having such kind of thoughts. Third is on a behavior level where, people show signs of not going out anymore, especially if you are an outgoing person and you stop going, right? Not getting things done at workplace, withdrawing from close family and friends, relying on alcohol or sedatives, not doing usual enjoyable activities, unable to concentrate. And lastly, it's about physical habits, where we can see sleep problems, loss or change of appetite, feeling tired all the time, sick and run down, headaches and muscle pains, churning gut, and significant weight loss or weight gain. Now, I have a question here. We all face some or the other of these experiences in our day-to-day routine. Yes or no? Yes. But does that mean it's an early sign of depression for us?
No.
No, right? So how do we
No.
distinguish that? Or how do we understand whether it's, actually an early sign of depression or not? Right?
Maybe if the same feelings continue to happen over a period of time, so the continuity might be a factor, yeah.
Very good. Absolutely correct. So prolonged experiences, right? Of anywhere upwards of 15 days or 2 weeks of time period. Okay. So if you're feeling something like this for a period of 2 weeks or more, then yes, these are traits of depression. Not just you, but somebody around you, if they are feeling this way, right? And you've known them closely, I think that's where you can probably be of help to them, be of support to them. But do not confuse them with temporary experiences that you're feeling this way one day. And, those are like day-to-day feelings. Yes, are we clear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's understand what causes mental health issues. Anyone would like to share? According to you, what could be the reason?
If people thinks a lot, or maybe having same thoughts multiple times, and they are just not going, so like they are just thinking only in one direction, one point, and just thinking about that.
Very good. Yes. What else?
Yeah, like what Subi said, overthinking.
Okay. Anything else?
Unable to cope with change
Okay. Very
and
good.
not getting enough support from the outside world.
Yes. So yes, all of you are correct. But we can actually segregate this in two parts. One could be internal factors and second will be external factors. So let's quickly understand what could be our internal factors. The first is our own personality. Like you mentioned about overthinking. This is also one of the personality traits. It's not something that everyone experiences. Yes. So when we talk about personality, it's something that we are born with on a mental and emotional, level, something that we are experiencing, and we may tend to suppress our own personality, right? And there could be times where we are being suppressed externally as well. So probably who we are naturally is not something that we are, experiencing just because somebody else is trying to suppress us. Second is the inability to communicate our thoughts. I think we understood that through the activity. The third is unable to say no. Do we face this? We want to say no, but I think till the time the word comes out, it comes as yes.
I have this issue. I don't say no to people very like generally.
So many of us face this. It's totally normal. Even I used to face this. I think that this is one of the biggest reasons why I probably, got pushed into orange and in the red zone. Then overly obsessive behavior. This could also be in terms of our thinking patterns. It could be maybe, we are doing something. Perfectionism, right? Wanting to get things right. Till then, we are just totally obsessed with it. And lastly, not achieving one's goals. So we have things planned in our mind, but they're not going as per our expectations. This also creates a lot of havoc inside. So these are a few internal factors. Of course, there are many more, but I think we'll cover these for the kind of time span that we have. Second is external factors. So it could be something like trauma that we are facing, chronic medical conditions like cancer, chemical imbalances in the brain, parental separation, or sexual or substance abuse. right? So there are both these areas, both these factors that cause mental health issues. Now, I would like you to go back to your self-reflection workbook and refer to the second section, where I need you to list down all the internal factors. It could be people, things, or events that cause stress to you. So start with the internal factors and then mention the external factors that cause stress to you. We'll take about a minute's time. So when you write down, with your heart totally open about it, because this is going to be for you, for no one else. And, there's a magical saying that when we write something down, almost 50% of the problem gets resolved, because now we are aware and we kind of get the strength to take on those challenges. Also, it clears our mind completely of all the unnecessary conversations that we are having. So write down as much as you can. Once you're done writing it, note down which of these stressors that you've just written, right? The internal and external, which of these stressors you can do something about, and which ones do you have to accept? There's nothing you can do about it. It's out of your control, right? But what cannot be cured must be endured. But yes, we must be aware of it, of things that we can definitely change, something which is in our control, and what are things that we have to accept as it is. Let me know once you're done. Okay. Shall we move forward?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now let me share about something very interesting over here. That whatever stressors we feel, right? It's not just something which is generic, but it's all personality based. Everything that we experience is something that are also part of our innate traits. It could be our fears, our emotional triggers, and also things that can motivate us. All of this is unique to each one of us, and they are as unique as our own fingerprints, right? We are all aware that we all have unique fingerprints, right? So just like we, unlock our smart devices using our fingerprints, each dermatoglyphic pattern, that means this is a scientific study. It's not a, palmistry or astrology, but it's scientifically proven that every pattern denotes a personality type that can unlock a whole world of unanswered questions for us. Yes. So let us understand the different personality profiles. And while I share these profiles, you could also try to relate where or which personality you hold. Yes. So the first one is motivator. Motivator are people who are full of energy. They are very enthusiastic, very cheerful. They have unlimited potential. And these are people who are rule breakers. Okay, they love freedom. So you will actually see if you tell them to, not do something, they will definitely do it. Okay. But they're also someone who are like social butterflies. So if these people are missing, then you feel you're, aaj kuch missing tha, this person was not there, right? Second are investigators. Investigators are people who are process oriented. They're also perfectionist. And because of their perfectionist nature, they kind of have dual thoughts because they want to be sure that, I want to take the right decision. So we can also see that they are confused most of the times because of this trait and very analytical in nature. The third are nurturers. Nurturers are people who are relationship oriented. That means people mean everything to them. They are the ones who are very flexible. They are excellent team players. They're also emotional, and they're the ones who cannot say no to anyone. Okay, very hard for them to say no, and they might sometime even give up on their own goal just in order to help somebody else. The fourth are drivers. Drivers are people who are goal oriented, very decisive and quick decision makers. Doesn't take time to, take decisions. Have you heard about this movie Wanted, where Salman Khan says, right, एक बार मैंने commitment कर दी तो मैं खुद की भी नहीं सुनता. It's exactly that personality, right? Very independent, very strong-willed, and they're also visionaries, so they can see in others what probably even others cannot see in themselves. So every personality has their own strengths and weaknesses, but let us understand what are the fears of each personality. So talking about motivator, they are the ones who fear lack of social support. That means if they're in a group of people, being ignored or unaccepted in a group setting is their biggest fear. So we had a case of this girl who was on medication. She was taking, she was visiting a psychiatrist, and she was diagnosed of depression. And when her parents came to us, the first thing that we did was we tried to understand her personality, and we realized that she was separated from her group of friends because she was moving to another state altogether, right? And that actually led her towards depression. It was nothing else. So the parents were guided in a way where there has to be gradual transition instead of a sudden transition. And just with this one change, the girl went off medication within few weeks, in fact, few days. Right? So just being able to identify such kind of triggers, we can come out of our, mental health issues within no time. The second is investigator, where they fear making mistakes. The negative feeling of missing the mark. I think this is again where a lot of people, we've seen that, if they have scored maybe 95% in their early days in their grade 10th. And if they score 92% in their 12th, they are out there ready to give up on their lives, right? However, they have to be counseled and they have to be made aware that this is a personality trait and it can be worked upon. The third is nurturer, where loss of security is their biggest fear. Like I think Pooja had mentioned, like sudden change. So rapid change is something that is not acceptable. Loss of stability or not meeting the expectations of others. Highly relationship oriented, right? So just by being aware of this, we can also understand how we can come out of our own limitations. The last one is driver. So biggest fear for drivers is loss of control, where not achieving results or losing control over the situation is their biggest challenge. Yes. So were you able to relate to some of these personality profiles? Yes. If you're able to do that and you're able to even identify your fear factors, do make a note of it. And, probably you can start working on it positively so that you can overcome all of these triggers and turn them into motivators for yourself. Now, in the third section, you would be able to see a screen. You'll be able to see different images in the self-reflection workbook. I'll also be sharing them over here. So you can just look at your thumb, on the left thumb, and you'll be able to see that there are different patterns, right? You can use your flashlight to see it more clearly. One of the patterns is known as arch, which goes like a plain, wave of water. The second pattern is like a loop where you'll see like a very tiny, very, small mountain kind of a figure, which is marked in blue here. And it has another peak kind of a figure, which just goes towards one of the sides of the thumb. This is known as loop. The third is whirl. Whirl will have two very tiny mountain-like figures on both the ends of the thumb. And in the center, you will either see something like a spiral or you will see something like a dart. The fourth is composite. Composite are, again, they'll have two tiny mountains on both the ends. And in the center, it would be like a yin yang, or it would be like an S shape. Okay. So just observe your left thumb and see if you're able to match any of these. You just mark it in the self-reflection workbook. In case you're unsure, just click on unsure. There are in all 33 patterns, but right now we're just focusing more on the 4 primary patterns. Okay, so let's move forward and understand the different coping strategies for different zones, right? Now, depending on your zone, make a note of your coping strategies. So while I'm sharing this, you can also go back to your self-reflection workbook and make a note of it. Sorry. So when, okay, let me ask you this question. I think I've already revealed it to you, but do you think it is essential for someone who's already in the healthy zone to further do something to, stay there or continue with some kind of coping strategies?
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely essential. So things that can be done here is connect with others, move your body in ways that you enjoy. It could be through walk, exercise, dance, anything. Maintain healthy lifestyle, create and maintain other routines that help you feel good. Second is in reacting. This is where you must start seeking positive supports, of course, social supports. Seek out enjoyable activities, get adequate rest, food and exercise, identify and minimize your stressors. I think we've already identified the stressors. What one can do is start minimizing those stressors. Third is injured. Here, again, we need to identify our own signs of distress and seek help or social support instead of withdrawing. A very normal tendency is for us to keep things inside and withdraw ourselves. But we should try and do the reverse. Take care of your body and use coping strategies, which we'll be sharing towards the end of the session. If someone is in the ill state, so definitely here one must seek professional help. Do not try to help somebody else who is already in this zone on your own. Do take some professional help. Also confide in most trusted supports. Follow physical and mental health care recommendations and use coping strategies. Excuse me. Okay. Now, going back to the self-reflection workbook, I would like you to note down what are your coping strategies. What do you do currently in order to keep your mental health in check? Once you're done with that, mention 3 action steps that you need to take for maintaining good mental health. Let me know once you're done. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'll be sharing more about seeking support, and we'll just summarize this of when and what kind of support do we require to seek. So when it comes to the first 2 zones, which is the healthy and reacting, it's more of self-care and social support that we require. I often see people who are in the reacting zone going to professionals or therapists, right? But that is not necessary. You can definitely take social support, speak to a friend or someone you confide in, and you can come back to your, regular zone. And the third and fourth, where it's in the injured or the ill state, we require professional help and support. And it's often seen that people who are in this zone, they refrain from taking any kind of professional help or going to a therapist, right? So I think it's very important for us, now that we are aware, to not just consider these practices for our own selves, but also if we come across someone in our own circle, we must definitely give them the right kind of guidance and help them connect with the right kind of support. Are you with me on this? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I would like you to go back to your self-reflection workbook and write down what kind of support system do you require for maintaining good mental health. So it could be out of these, let's say, even if it's social support. So what kind of social support? You require some kind of emotional support. You require someone to just listen to you without having to interrupt, right? What is a different kind of support that you require for maintaining good mental health? Also, I'd like to share here, when you write down your support system, do not tag a particular person in your mind that, maybe if this is my sister, I would want to go and get this help from my sister. No, it should just be a very universal thing that this is the kind of support I require. And just trust the universe. This has been my personal experience that the support or help will come to you automatically through different ways. So do not tag. It's called as untagging, right? That write down in a very untagged manner. I think once you're done with that, we'll cover the guidelines on how to seek and give support. So when it comes to seeking support, you can just make a note of these things. Journal out your thoughts to gain clarity on what you actually need support before going ahead and speaking with someone. So when you go to someone, ask if they're available, right? So I need to speak with you. Can I have 5 to 10 minutes of your time? Also, when you are seeking support for the first time, ensure that you're not taking a lot of time of the other person. You should be able to convey your thoughts in 5 to 10 minutes. Of course, you can have more rounds of discussions later. And do not digress from the issue. Try to keep the focus on the particular support that you want from the other person. Lastly, thank the person for their support. It's important to give or pay gratitude to someone who is really there and standing for you. The second part is about giving support. So if someone comes to you seeking support, the first thing you could, instead of, I've often seen people that they start giving advice, right? Do we do that? So yes, you must listen, but instead of directly jumping on giving advice, just ask, how can I help you? Okay, what kind of help are they actually seeking from you? Listen without judgment and focus on the strength of the person, then pointing out their weakness. This will really help them to come back and feel more self-confident. And lastly, conclude by assuring the person that it's normal to feel this way. There's nothing wrong. And you could use statements like, this too shall pass, or I'm there for you. Trust me, these simple statements can change the whole world of the other person. Yes? So I'd like to share an amazing quote by psychologist Dr. Lauren Mercy, which says that being able to be your true self is one of the strongest components of good mental health. All stress, anxiety, depression is caused when we ignore who we truly are and start living to please others. Yes. So it's very important that we recognize our own inner strengths. And moving forward, I'll be sharing a small video of, like I said, few people who have found their light and come out of their own darkness. Yes. So I hope this also inspires you to find your own light. So I'm sharing the screen. Let me know in case you're not able to hear the audio.
Getting captured in the fast. I'll never let you down again. I'm back. I promise to never go back. I promise. Let's be honest. The past is now. See you again. Perhaps I'm with the last thing to do. Relax. I ain't going back to that now.
जिंदगी गले लगा ले हमने भी तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है ना
क्या पता हमने है कहानियां हैं कहानी में हम पररररम
Yep. So did you find it inspiring? Did it help you find your light? Yes or no? Still looking for it. Okay, I think today is the first step towards it. So let's do this activity together where I need you to write down that one thing. You can, of course, write multiple things, but at least that one thing that gives you happiness. It could be something as small as maybe just enjoying a cup of ice cream. Okay, so go back to your notebook, workbook, and go ahead and write down that one thing that gives you happiness. You could also go back to your childhood and maybe think of the different things that used to give you happiness or, used to make you feel really good. Okay, so shall we move forward? I believe everyone is through with this activity. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so now coming towards the end of it, let's understand what's the first step to maintaining good mental health. Anybody would like to share what, according to you, is the first step to maintaining good mental health?
The first step would be to recognize the problems
Okay.
and then act upon them.
Okay, very good. Anybody else would like to share?
Just maintaining a good lifestyle, getting enough sleep, and not scrolling through Instagram endlessly.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, like wake up early in the morning and go in the sun.
Okay, having a good routine. Okay, I think everything, yes, counts, but the foremost important thing is to make a commitment. Without a commitment, we don't do a thing, right? So the first step is to make a commitment that I commit to make my mental health my priority. And I require you to write this down, because only when we write it down, we are, giving universe that assurity, yes, that we are really serious about this. So make a note of it and let me know once you're through. And also play a video simultaneously while you make a note.
My mental health is my priority.
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 So I think we're not alone. There are thousands of people who have committed towards making their mental health their priority. And I think let all of us say it together. Yes? So I would request each of you to unmute yourself and let's do this together with me. Yes? I commit.
I commit.
I commit
To make my mental health my priority.
To make my mental health my priority.
Once again, I commit.
I commit
To make my mental health.
to make my mental health my priority.
My priority.
My priority.
Very good. Okay. So moving ahead, I think we'll be sharing some very interesting 21 days self-care practices for mental hygiene, which we'll get it through Ridhima. And we will be covering one of those practices right now. So let me stop my screen and see all the beautiful faces here. Yes. So we'll be doing some interesting exercises. It's called Neurobics, also known as Brain Gym. Okay, and I require your attention and videos on. Requesting everyone to put their videos on so that I can monitor if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so we'll start with the first exercises. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So I need you to take both your hands out this way, fists close. Okay, open one hand and point it to the other fist. Thumb touching your hand. Thumb should not be upward, it should be touching your hand. Yes. Okay, now switch. Very good. Switch again. Switch. Okay, we do this 10 times. Sonam, close your fist. Yes. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good students. Okay, let's move to the next one. Now, create a 2 or a victory with one hand and a shoot with the other hand. Okay, thumb out. Yes. Preetham, where's your 2? Yeah, bring it inside. Yeah. Okay, now we need to switch. 2 outward. Pooja and Sonam and Manish, 2 outward. Not this. Yes, outward. Switch. Switch. Very good. We'll do this 10 times. Mukul, you should be facing outward. Preetham, only one single pointer will be out.
Yes. Yes.
Double loaded then like that. Come on, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. Awesome. Easy?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's move to the next one. Take both your fists out. Guys, there are many people who are still not, they've not put their videos on. You can just join in. Feel free. Okay. Now take out one thumb from one fist and your little finger from the other hand.
Oh.
Very nice. You know what to do? Switch. Switch. Sonam, opposite thumb and opposite little finger. Yeah. Okay, this is 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Survi, yes, 10. Okay, very nice. Enjoying? Shall we do two?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, come on, take both your fingers out. Okay, now we use only one finger first and we create a imaginary circle. Do it 5 times. Imagine.
उल्टा
कोई भी direction कर रहे हो.
ये से दिक्कत है
Okay. Now pause and the other hand should go in a triangular direction to create an imaginary triangle. Very nice. Sonam, karo? Yes. Very good. Easy? This is easy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Easy. Okay. My work is to make it more challenging. So now you need to create one circle with one hand, one triangle with the other hand simultaneously.
now.
Okay, I can see some very different shapes coming out already. I think you should do it on a pen and paper. You'll be able to see the different artists that we have here. Together, one circle, one triangle. One circle, one triangle.
I like how Mukul is doing it.
जादू की तरह लग रहा है पॉम 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 पॉम
Okay. Great. प्रीतम साथ में करना है, अलग अलग नहीं, अलग अलग easy है. Okay. Chalo, last one. Take both your hands out and fists closed. Okay. Now I need you to move one hand in the clockwise direction 10 times. Very nice. Stop. Other hand in the anti-clockwise direction. I think some of you have already understood what we are going to do.
Now both.
Yes. Both in the opposite directions. One goes clockwise, one goes anti-clockwise. Okay, Jatin, good try. Sirvi, both are going backward. Ridhima, both are going backward. One forward, one backward. Atif, you got it? Close. Almost there. Sonam, aap bhag rahe ho aage. One forward, one backward. Akshay. Come on, Manish. Come on, Mukul. Satvika, show me how you're doing it.
My brain hurts.
Brain. So this is also known as, brain dominance, that we tend to use one part of our brain more than the other, right? So our left brain is, what is the function of the left brain? Anyone?
Sleeping.
Wow. I think that's the most creative or innovative answer that I've heard today. Okay. Left brain is more of a logical mind. It helps you with probably problem solving, numbers, right? Analysis. And right brain is
Creative.
Duty.
right. Correct. So imagination or even memory, right? Memory is also part of the right brain. Now, what happens is when we tend to use only one part of our brain more, automatically we are attracting stress, right? So when we are using both parts of our brain equally well, that's when we are able to find creative answers and out of the box solutions, right? With very less efforts. And high possibility, we don't even go in the yellow zone. We are probably somewhere in the green zone itself. So these practices, these exercises can help you to break that brain dominance and ensure that you're using both parts of your brain simultaneously. Yes? Are we clear on
Yes.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think we are almost towards the end of the session. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, you can put it in the chat window or you can unmute yourself. People who are on mute or who are off video, even they can put it in the chat window. No questions? Wow, okay. Okay, so how was the experience? I would love to hear from you. How was the entire experience for you?
I think it was really engaging from the time we started till now. I didn't really feel my attention waver even for a second. So I really enjoyed it, and I was looking forward to the brain exercises. So we spoke about it right in our first call. So this delivered. Like I'm gonna actually go back and try these till I get it right.
Yes, you should. And in fact, you should practice it every day. It just takes less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
also would like to add on this, like I already started feeling very fresh, after doing all these exercise and activities. My mind and brain is feeling like very fresh right now, literally. So I really enjoyed the session.
That's so nice. That's so good to hear, it's amazing to hear. So we had one of the sessions where a person was feeling physically ill. Like she said, I'll just leave after the session. And she couldn't even sit. And post the session, she was perfectly fine. She's like, I'm completely fine now. And I think she stayed till almost another 3-4 hours. So great. Good to hear that, Surbi. Anybody else? Any learnings, any key takeaways that you would like to share here?
I like the idea of the continuum and the phases where you divide it, because it was very easy for me to now identify where I am, where I want to go, and how I want to go also. So that phase and the stages were really good for me to know or be a bit more aware about myself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm really interested to know about the thumbprint analysis. So that's the part that I'm still like thinking about.
Sure. I think we'll discuss about it.
So my favorite part, so my favorite part of this entire the last 90 minutes definitely is the self-reflection book. Where I had to really think. I've never really taken time to write down whatever questions you asked. I never proactively thought of answering anything for myself. So I really like that about the session.
That's great. I think that's very important to write down, because it's a lot of clutter here, right? You just need to empty that out. Great. I'm glad it helped you. Yes, Preetham, I can see you've unmuted yourself.
Yes, I'm like just stuck on that line. I commit to make my mental health my priority.
Wow.
One thing that I liked was the fact that you have to accept certain things, and the other things that you can do to change or manage things about yourself. So that kind of gives you a reality check, right? That there's certain internal stresses and external stresses that you have to kind of accept within yourself, and the rest of them you can work on it.
Absolutely, Archana. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. Yes, Jatin.
Yeah, Not sure what to say.
One minute, yourself. I thought you were gonna say something. Okay. Mukul,
One thing I want to add,
yes.
it was very difficult to identify in which zone we are. Like sometimes I was feeling I'm in yellow zone also, I'm in orange zone also. Like there was very little difference. So that was difficult to identify.
Thank you for bringing out that point, Sonam. So yes, it is very difficult to identify instantly, but because the reason behind that is that we keep moving throughout, especially the first three stages, right? Not the fourth one. And so you have to, when you're writing down, write down as per your current experience. So it's very simple to distinguish between orange and yellow, depending on the time frame. So let's say if you're feeling a certain emotion for more than 15 days, then probably you're in the orange zone. But if it's like happening today and tomorrow, day after, you're feeling completely fine, then you're in the yellow zone. However, if there is some kind of a situation where you're not feeling stressed at all, right? It is not, stress is coming, challenges are coming, but it does not impact you, then you're in the green zone. Does that give you clarity now? Okay. Great. Anybody else would like to share their learnings, their key takeaways? I would encourage you to share because I think that's what makes you more confident, and it also helps you to get certain things outside of yourself. So feel free to do that. I think it's okay, Satvika and Ridhima. Can we take another 3-4 minutes?
Of course, yeah, sure.
Sharing? Yes.
Hey Jyoti, there's one question. This is Roshni here. Post, like maybe because of COVID, also a person can go into different zones, right? Like people who are usually in the green zone only tend to go to different zones, somewhere orange.
Absolutely. I think what I'd like to share, not just pandemic. If you have heard about Arunima Sinha, has anyone heard about her? She is the first female amputee who climbed Mount Everest, right? So we had covered one part where we spoke about external factors, right? One of them was trauma. So she was basically traveling by a train, and some guys just came on board and they pushed her off the train, and she just came, her leg came under the train, and she could not walk anymore. And that was where, you know, such kind of instances, even like pandemic, they put us into the orange or red zone within no time. It's not that we have to wait 15 days. It's just putting us into that zone instantly. But it's very important to, you know, come back and come out of it as well. So why I'm sharing this instance of Arunima Sinha here is because even in that state, you know, when she was in the hospital, lying on the bed, she took a decision that she would, once she's, you know, out of the hospital, she will climb Mount Everest in that state. Right? So that's the kind of mental strength or mental resilience that we require to have. I think if you can take that away, this one small example after this session, I think it'll be the biggest achievement, that we are here not just to be aware about mental health, but also to somewhere start building that resilience inside of us that can, you know, help us come out of any kind of zone. So thanks for putting out that question, Roshni. And I hope it answers your question.
Yes.
Roshni? Okay, great. Anybody else who would like to share? Great. So I think with this, we conclude today's session. It was really lovely having each of you here. I would have loved it more if more people would have come, you know, on the video. It would have been fun to see each of you, but probably sometime, you know, soon or sometime later. And thank you so much, Ridhima and Satvika. I still remember us having these conversations. I hope I've done justice and I've, you know, kind of met your expectations that you had, because this was the first time since you're doing something like this. in your entire organization. So I hope it was fruitful for you as well. And yeah, I think over to you.
Yeah, Jyot, when I came and spoke to you about it, I was not sure what to expect. You had given us a bunch of things that we may be covering in the session, but when it actually happens is a totally different thing from when you read about it. So, I mean, I don't know if I can speak on behalf of everyone else, but I personally enjoyed the session, and it was a good, sort of stop button on the crazy Monday that everyone always has. I feel like I can go back to, in fact, now the second half of the day, I have a lot of, brain work to do. I have to really engage my brain. And I feel like it's been rejuvenated and I should be able to do it pretty well. I really enjoyed the session.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think, shall we conclude today's session?
Sure. And thank you so much for this, Jyot. I'm sure it was a fruitful session for everybody. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining again, and wishing you all a great, happy Monday and a happy week ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye.